Hey guys, this week we're focusing on the concept of servant leadership. As we talk about all that you're learning in school, what you're learning through your football practices and other activities that you're involved in, there's often this thread of leadership. We're trying to develop leaders. We're trying to develop leaders. You kind of hear that over and over again. And then here we come along and we put that word servant in front of leadership. And in our world and our culture today, sometimes that causes a bit of confusion. I have seen on occasion this shown in many different ways. In fact, one of the head coaches of one of the sports, and I know it's happened numerous times in all the sports, but I know this one occasion, one of the sports there at Fleming Allen High School, the coach would get there early and prepare the field and make sure everything is locked up. This is being done before players ever show up. And why would he do that? Because he doesn't want, one, practice or games to be slowed down, but he also wants to make sure that his players, his team, have the best possible circumstances for victory. And so he does this not to be seen, but as others discover he is doing this, there is definitely a message being shared there that he is not sitting in that position of head coach and letting everybody else do everything, but he is not allowing anyone to do anything he wouldn't do himself. Now that's from a coaching perspective, and I would say just about all of our coaches at the school are in that same world, but it's also on the team. How are you serving others? There are quite a few things when we talk about serving others. Let me read to you something from a story that maybe you're aware of. The story says that it's from the Bible. You got Jesus coming into this city up in the northern part of Israel, and his disciples, his 12 guys, are following him. But as he enters into an area, he hears people. They get really quiet into this room. He walks into the house, and everybody gets quiet. And they had been arguing and had been loud before he got in there, and you kind of understand what's happening here. And so he asks them. He says, "Hey, what's going on here?" And they just remained silent. And then he looked at them, knowing what they were doing. They were arguing about who's most important. And he looked at them and said, "Hey, if you want to be first, you got to be last. If you want to be first, you got to be last. If you want to be a leader, you got to serve everybody. No matter what we do, we all strive to be great. Whether your goals lie on the field or off the field, we want to be considered the best at what we do. When we look at role models in our sport of choice, those we look up to, we often pick them because they were the greatest at what they do. Everyone strives for greatness, and even those who seek to be servant leaders fall into this at times. We want to be great, but maybe great in our own works. In this story, you got these 12 guys who had skills and talents, and they each brought a unique skill set to the work to be done. And yet they began to argue among themselves about who was most important. And it really teaches the lesson as you just think about this. Who's the most important on your team? Well, there is really no most important, because if everyone is doing their job in practice, in preparation, and during the game, then the team wins. We all have stories, and we've seen it, when there's somebody that wants all the spotlight on themselves, whether professional athlete or someone else, and it actually leads to the team being hurt overall. If you want to be a leader, you got to be willing to show servanthood and to serve those who are with you. So what's that mean? What's that look like for you? It definitely is less of you and more of them. C.S. Lewis said it this way: humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. That's a great word. So to be the greatest, we got to be practicing thinking less of ourselves and more of others. Hey, hope you have a great week. Thanks.